Well, look at that. Leaf trading cards investing some huge money. Plus, there is a weird looking red Michael Jordan PMG that recently sold on eBay that's got kind of an interesting story. So we are going to touch on these in today's episode of the Sports Card Dad. Stick around. Well, hello to all my sports card hobby family. We're back. I hope that everyone had an amazing Memorial Day weekend. I did a lot of pool time, hanging out with the kids and just getting caught up on housework and all that sort of thing. But hope that everything is good for you guys. Before I dive into the topics, we have our Tuesday shout outs. Card Capsule. You are looking for supplies, whether it be semi-rigids, card sleeves, cases, and you're looking for them at an affordable price. Card Capsule is your place for this sort of thing. They got some cool products. I also have a backpack you can hold slabs in now. A lot of really interesting stuff there and at great prices. So make sure to check out my links down below. Use Sports Card Dad at checkout for 10% off your order. Wooten Sports Cards on Whatnot, always bringing the heat. Typically always sells out. 11,000 followers, 5-star reviews on the Whatnot machine. Make sure to check out Wooten Sports Cards. You have a collection to sell. You're like, who should I get an appraisal from? JustCollect.com. They've got a very easy form there on their website, JustCollect.com, where they can give you an idea of, hey, this is what your collection might be worth. VintageBreaks.com, also a part of that company. If you want to give them a shot, you can shout out Sports Card Dad in their chat on YouTube for $20 off for new customers to give VintageBreaks.com a shot. All right, I was a little taken aback at this Collect.com article because we've been talking, of course, a lot about Panini and Topps getting in and signing athletes that haven't even started their college career and thinking like, my gosh, these are literally 17, 18-year-olds that are heading off into their respective college to play their sport. And these companies are getting in early, opening up a lot of speculation in their cards and autographs for a lot of their pre-pro, their amateur stuff. It's really kicked up. I've talked about the Bowman U cards that I've been buying and selling for quarterbacks. And I've been selling a lot of quarterbacks that are in the upcoming college season. Guys that, might be first-round picks in next year's draft. The Caleb Williams and the Drake Mays of the world, they're still selling, but man, you can already see the spec attention, the spec money attention has moved on to those next years, and not even just this upcoming crop, but even backup QBs at big schools. An example would be Dante Moore. Dante Moore is the backup. I believe he is at Oregon, and he's a freshman. But his cards have been selling strong. Just people getting ready for him to come up and be in on it early and be right on an athlete. So very interesting to see how that has changed in our hobby, because that is a fairly new phenomenon here over the last couple of years with the Panini Topps battle over licensing. It has just become very common now that people are buying into the college cards early and often. Well, Leaf just took it to the next level. Leaf said that they're going to be investing big money into athletes coming up into college. Yes, you heard that right. They recently signed 15-year-old Louisiana quarterback Peyton Houston. 15 years old. He has not taken a high school snap yet. Signs a deal with Leaf, and the article says for life-changing money. Now, that can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Life-changing money might be $50,000 for one person. It might be $500,000 for another person. But just the fact that this was probably a fairly sizable deal for a kid that hasn't even taken a high school snap yet to sign with Leaf. And Leaf said that they are going to continue to try to do this to really kind of push the envelope. They don't have any of the licenses, but they have very popular cards, different types of sets. They've always really pushed the envelope as to what they can do without licenses. They've done a lot of cool entertainment cards. They do have popular products, but you look at this, they're trying to get ahead of the game. I mentioned Panini signed a quarterback. I think it was a Texas commit, and he has not taken a college snap yet. So this was a 17, 18-year-old kid. They're actually going back here, Leaf going back all the way to moving into high school. And this is just unbelievable to me. So there will be cards for QBs, if you think about that. So let's just time frame that. So this kid is he's going to be a ninth grader, I guess, and he's going to be playing high school football for at least, 4 years. And the earliest he's going to be a pro is 20, 21, 22 years old. You're talking about someone having cards for 6, 7 years before they ever even take a pro snap. Because of course we always talk about, hey, once they get in their pro unis, all this college stuff, no one's going to really care about that. Or is it now we're talking about high school stuff? High school unis, the only thing I can think of with like high school unis is like LeBron James has got like his high school uni stuff because played in high school, went straight to the NBA. There's some of autograph cards and that sort of thing that carry big premiums, but it looks to be, and I'm curious to see if Panini Topps kind of follow this and do the same thing, if they compete with Leaf, even going back to high school players. I thought it was kind of a reach to sign 17, 18-year-olds that haven't played college ball. Now we're talking about high schoolers. So this is going to be an interesting thing to watch. And will they sell? Will these cards be popular? Will people be speculating on these guys coming up in the same way they do with baseball? Baseball prospects. You got a 16-year-old that the Yankees signed or whatever, and you're waiting to see if you're right on that. Jason Dominguez was one of these guys. There's a lot of baseball prospecting that's done. Is that now going to be the case with quarterbacks? We will have to wait and see. All right, so the next story, interesting one. Jordan Red PMG, in quotation marks, sells on eBay. We've been talking about eBay. There's a lot of weird stuff going on eBay. And granted, big site, a lot to manage there, but this is going to be an interesting one to watch, as this is a Jordan Red PMG is what it was labeled as. So it's sitting in a BGS holder, and keep in mind, this was graded fairly recently, this year, I believe, in 2024. So this isn't like this was graded by BGS 10 years ago or something. It's sitting in an authentic, altered holder. And again, I would have to really look into the BGS fine print on what this exactly means. So the buyer got in touch with me, and he also did a YouTube video giving the whole story. So what I'm going to actually do, so you can really get the full picture, I'll put a link to his video down below, because it's very interesting. And the buyer, my gosh, talk about for someone that could lose $23,000, because that's what he paid for this thing in the transaction, very calm, collected. He even said, hey, look, if this doesn't turn out right, if this is some sort of a fake card and I don't get my money back, I will destroy the card. I will make sure this doesn't continue to circulate on the market. But I really hope that he's either able to cancel the transaction, return, whatever, like figure out some way to where this guy isn't just out $23,000. He does say, hey, look, it was me, I made the bid, it's all on me, but it doesn't feel just at all if this guy has to eat $23,000, which also has to go through the eBay authenticity program. So that's another thing that's very interesting here, is that's where it's headed now. This card is now heading to eBay to be authenticated, but there's some concern. And again, not really me knowing the fine print on eBay authentication. There's some concern that they might authenticate it. And you might be saying, like, how is this even possible? Because eBay may just look at this as the title matches up with the slab. They're not necessarily authenticating, or I guess relitigating, if this card is authentic altered. Is eBay authentication just going to look at that slab and say, okay, it has been authenticated by a third party and the listing is correct in how it was listed on our site, we are going to approve this? Or are they going to look at it and say, this card doesn't look right, this was graded wrong? So this is something that is of huge concern. Some have speculated, and I was just looking at the regular card, that regular Jordan card, was it colored in with like a red Sharpie or something? The seller is saying that he believes it could be like a backdoored copy or an error card, which could be the case. But again, man, what are you going to do with an error, PMG error card? Trying to sell that, is kind of like, oof. If this thing was not sitting in a BGS authentic altered holder, this would never sell. This is kind of my big thing, is how much does it fall on BGS here as to how they graded it? What does their grade actually mean? Are they saying it's an authentic trading card, as in like, this is actually a trading card, it's not a cat that you sent us. It's not a plastic cup, it is a trading card, so we're authenticating this as a trading card, but we're gonna throw it altered in because I don't know if it was colored in, if it was error or whatever. It's not a great look at all. It's not a great look if this guy buys this and just ends up buying a bogus card. That just really sucks. And so again, this goes to show so much nuance in this hobby, so many potential pitfalls. Even if you have kind of everything lining up, it can still go sideways. We will have to follow this though. I might do a follow-up video just on the outcome. But yeah, like I said, but definitely check out, the buyer of this card has a great YouTube video where he breaks it down as to how the transaction happened. He also breaks down his communication with the seller and everything, and as well as with Beckett's kind of, how they were involved. So it's just a very interesting story. And so we will see how it plays out. Friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.
you.